Hello students, you are welcome to another session of the private class with the Millennium Teacher. This is the class that teaches the lessons of life based on truth. The class that inspires, motivates, and transforms you into your best version. In case you're a newcomer in this class or you have been in this class but still not registered yet, I encourage you to do so now by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, which is the private class, or by following us on TikTok at the private class and on Instagram at the Millennium Teacher. Please join us and also invite others to join us in the private class so that we'll learn the lessons of life based on truth. You are also encouraged to comment on the lessons, give your views and ask questions related to the lessons so that we'll learn from each other. In today's class, we'll discuss another way of passing an exam without malpractice, which is to review past question papers. Almost every exam, if not all, has repeated questions. So the easiest way to pass any exam is to review past question papers. During my secondary school days, I found it very difficult to review past question papers because I thought that no teacher will want to repeat a question in any exam because it will make the exam sound easy for the students. So I thought no teacher will want to do that, so why bother myself to review a past question paper? Little did I know that most questions repeat themselves in exams. I only found out when I was about to sit WAS, which is the West African Senior Secondary School Examination. I discovered that most of the questions in the exam were repeated questions in the past years. It was then I realized that the best leakage, the best legal leakage, if I may say so, was past question papers. When you review past question papers for whatever exam you're going to sit, you will stand a better chance to pass that exam. So, what are past question papers in the school of life? We have established here in this class that our challenges, difficulties, problems, and trials are the tests and exams in the school of life. So past question papers will now be referred to as the problems, challenges, difficulties, and trials of our predecessors. Most of the problems which you encounter in life are repeated problems, just as most of the questions which students sit for in exams are repeated questions. So to be on the safer side in any area of life which you find yourself, try to inquire from those who have been there before you. Learn from them the problem and the challenges which they encountered and find possible solution to some of those challenges so that in case they happen to you, you'll be able to solve them easily. To explain this better, I will take it step by step. One thing I realize is that most of us make enemies of our predecessors. We don't know that our predecessors are our seniors in the school of life. We make enemies of them when once someone has been removed from a particular position and then we are being installed. The next thing we do is to make enemies of them. We try to pull them down. We try to make things look like they did nothing at all. That's very wrong. No matter how badly they performed, we need their experience. When you assume a particular office in the government sector, in the private sector, in whatever office you find yourself, you need to inquire from those who have been there before you. If you must succeed in that office, in that area, in that government, if our nations must prosper, then our government, our current government, should learn from our previous government. Yes. Let us stop pulling down each other. Learn from those who have been there before you, the office or the area of life where you find yourself. Go and learn from them, the problems which they encountered and how they dealt with it. Because whether you like it or not, those problems, most of them will repeat themselves. So if you don't have a knowledge of them, you'll not be able to solve them easily. We also relate this to marriage. Most of the problems and challenges which occur in marriages are the same for almost every couple. So if you are to succeed in the institution called marriage, you must learn from your seniors who have been married before you. What are the problems they encountered? What are the challenges which they faced during their marriage? Learn from them how they were able to cope with each other when they encountered problems, how they were able to solve those problems. You'll be able to stand a better chance for your marriage to prosper and last forever. We can also relate this to the family. There are most problems which we encounter in our families that are repeated problems. In fact, people even call them generational problems. They have been in our generation. Our ancestors have encountered those problems And most of those problems, they were not able to solve them. And because they didn't solve most of those problems, they continued repeating themselves. If our family should prosper, then we need to learn from our ancestors. We need to inquire from them what were some of those problems which they encountered. For instance, some families have the problem of death. There's a particular stage which somebody will reach. They will just die like that. Nobody will cross that stage. It has been like that for quite a long time. And nobody tried to find a solution to it. And so if you find yourself in that kind of family and you're not able to get to the bottom of that matter, you're not able to review the past question paper, find that unsolved problem out, it will happen to you too as well. Maybe that problem of death might be a spiritual problem. You need to get to the bottom of it and start finding solutions to it as early as possible, so that in case you are to be faced with that kind of problem, you'll be able to solve it. Some families, the women will find it very difficult to get married. And for some, if the women will get married, it will be very difficult for them to stay married. And for some, they have the problem of barrenness. They will get married but no child at all. If you find yourself in that kind of situation, you need to get to the bottom of it before it is your turn. Try to learn from your ancestors what the problem was that they encountered. What are their challenges? How did it come about? How is it that your mother could not stay married? How is it that your mother or your father is divorced? You need to learn from them. Why is this thing happening? I implore you kindly to be on the safer side. Get to the bottom of it. Try to learn from your mother. How did she manage to keep your father at home for so long a time? Also ask your father, how did he manage to keep your mother at home for so long a time, now that divorce has become the order of the day? Try to learn from them. How are they able to stay married if they are still together? Because you can see that most marriages are broken up today. Divorce has become the order of the day, but most marriages are still intact. There are some couples who are still together. So if you are to be on the safer side, if you want your own marriage to stay intact, you want your family to stay intact, you have to learn from those who have been there before you. Try to learn from your mother. How was she able to manage the small penny that your father was giving to provide food for the family? You need to also learn from your father. How did he manage to keep the family together with the small amount of salary he was earning? Yes, you need to learn from him, because if it happens to you and you're not able to find a solution to it, you will fail woefully. To my elders in life, I say this: you are our seniors in the school of life. You are seniors for the youth and the young adults. Please give us your past question papers and tell us possible solutions to some of those problems which you encountered. To my fellow millennials, the youths, I say this: we are genius in the school of life. Sometimes we pretend that we know better than our elders. We pretend that their own time have expired. It is not like that. If we must pass the exams of life, we must review the past problems which our elders have encountered and find possible solutions to them, so that in case those problems come our way, we'll be able to solve them easily. This takes us to the end of the class for today. And I hope you have learned something. I encourage you, review the past question papers for the area of life which you find yourself. Marriage, family, education, government, whatever office you find yourself, whatever business line you find yourself, whatever career you find yourself, review the past question papers related to that career. Learn from the experience of those who have been there before you, so that you stand a better chance of solving the problems related to that area of life. Till we meet again, I have been your teacher, Solomon Joseph Kekora. Class dismissed.